Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Grace Hollow Rabbitry. I am PJ. I just got back early this morning from Russellville River Valley Double Rabbit and KV show. We had a successful weekend, and now it's time to get home, get back to business. As you all know, I've been really overwhelmed this summer, and so for a while now, I've been playing catch up, trying to get caught up, and I'm almost there. I am on my last 5 animals to evaluate and tattoo, and then I've been thinning out as I go along, and so I still got some thinning to do, but I think I'm down. After these 5 animals, I think all my calls are taken care of. So hopefully I don't have any calls today. I have high hopes for the 5 that I have, and so I hope they're looking good. Let's see, the first thing we're going to start out with is going to be a young buck and a doe out of Keogh. She was bred to Dallas. Now I'm giving these two some leeway. I want to tell you the story and explain about these two. Keogh was bred to Dallas. She kindled 8 kits on July 5th, so they're just like 4 months and a week. And Keogh raised them 7 or 8 weeks, I forget, and I weaned them. And Keogh was leaving. She's out on loan. She will be back probably late winter or maybe early spring, but for the time being she's out on loan. And I just pulled the kits off. Generally I pull 2 or 3 off at a time every 2 or 3 days, and I didn't do that this time. I pulled all 8 kits off. I was rushing around. Like I said, I've been overwhelmed all summer long, and I never done my preventative care for them at 8 weeks. I put them in a weaning pen, and I went about my business. Well, sure enough, right about 10 days after weaning, the entire litter bloated on me. The whole litter, every one of them. And so I treated them, and I done everything I could to save them, and they held on for a very long time. I mean, these guys were really sick for a long time. And after about 10 days, one by one, they all started dying off. We had 4 broken blue and 4 broken black, and we ended up losing all of the broken blue and 2 of the broken black. We ended up with 2 broken black that survived. And even after these two, even after they decided, you know what, I'm done with this bloat thing, I'm going to get better, they really struggled, but they held in there, and they kept trying, and they kept trying, and eventually they finally got over it. They started to eat normally and drink normally, but they do have at least a good 6-week stunted growth. Now, I'm going to watch these two, and I want you to understand, these two will not ever be for sale, at least not until after they're seniors, and I know that they're, somewhere close to their ideal weight. I just want to see what happens to them now that they've been delayed. And they have made a tremendous amount of progress since they have overcame the bloat. They're really great looking rabbits. I've been watching them. If I didn't think they were worth saving, I would have just called them and went on about my business. But both of these guys are pretty promising. But let's go ahead and pull them out and take a real look at it. Alright, this is, I believe, the buck. It's got the real pretty markings. I think it's a buck. Yes, this one is the buck. Like I said, they're 4 months and about a week or something, or maybe 4 months and a day, or I can't even think. 4 months and 10 days or something like that, somewhere in that neighborhood. And ideally, these should be probably at a minimum of about 7.5 pounds. Now this guy, he is a solid rock. I mean, he's, for someone that has gone through what he has, he is a rock. So let's put him on the scale and see if he even comes close to that 7.5 pound mark. You know, he's not as far behind as I would have thought. These two are still sharing a pen, and so I think they do have 2 pens set up today, so they are being divided today. He's going to the buck side, and she's going to stay over there on the doe side. He was 6 pounds, 12 ounces, so he's only, what is that, about 10, 12 ounces shy of where I would have liked to seen him at this age normally. And like I said, he's these guys are at least 6 weeks behind. And they've really come a long way in the last probably 2 weeks. So I think there's still hope. But anyway, we're going to watch the weights. We're going to keep feeding them heavily. And I may even give them a little supplements. I haven't decided yet. I just want to see what I can do after surviving bloat. Is there any point in continuing? So, you know, they're kind of a test. But in the same time, these are some really nice animals. So I hope it pays off, because I'd like to put these guys on the show table. Real nice guy here. Solid as a rock. He is built. He is hard. He is strong. I love that muscling. I think he needs some more depth. He's lacking the depth there. We'll see what happens as he matures. He's got a beautiful marking. Nice and wide, and the loin is full. I see in my herd a lot, a little bit of narrowing, or I call it a hollow spot, right here at the top of the loin hip junction. And he's nice and round and full right there. So I really appreciate that about him. Now right now I think he has long fur. I think he still has some baby coat. So I hope that matures as he continues to grow. But overall, right now, I'm pretty satisfied with what I see. Other than I would like to see some more depth at that hip here. And his peak is right here, which is right in front of his hip right there. So he peaks where he needs to. We just need to bring that peak up. He's really strong in that shoulder. I really appreciate that about him. I really like this guy a lot. He has some maturing to do, but, you know, I don't think he's drastically or as drastically behind as I thought he was. Alright, this is the doe. Let's flip her over and make sure. Yes, she's still a doe. And she is actually where I expected them to be. So this guy over here is quite a bit bigger than her. But she too really is a brick house. She's just small in stature at this time. Like I said, they're really drastically far behind. But she is coming along, and I may watch her for a while. Now, as far as her marking goes, she's a little heavier in color. I like more of the spotted color. Her too is a little long in fur. Got a very babyish coat, so hopefully that matures. Beautiful top line on this girl. But again, like her brother, she's very wide, full, and round at this loin junction. But you know, she's just like her brother, good and strong in those shoulders. Her peak is here, right in front of that hip bone. So she's peaking correct at this time. But again, I would like to see some depth develop on both of these. So we're going to have to watch them and see how they turn out. I think they're both promising. We're going to get them divided up. We're going to feed them out, and we're going to revisit them and see how they're doing on their weight gain now that they have fully recuperated from their illnesses and doing well. They are. They're doing very well. I really didn't think they would survive. And like I said, when they were 12 weeks old, they were about the size of a 6-week-old. I mean, when I pulled them off, they were great and healthy when I weaned them at 8 weeks. And they were right on schedule for weight gain. And then they got bloat and they started losing weight. So at 12 weeks, they were sitting at about a 6-week weight. They were only about 2 to 2.5 pounds, about 2.5 pounds. So at 8 weeks, or at 10 weeks, they were about 6-week weight. So they were 4 weeks behind, and then for 3-4 weeks, they were pretty ill and wasn't gaining weight. They were just barely surviving day to day. I was treating them, and it just was keeping them alive, but I wasn't getting them better. But eventually it did work, and we managed to save them. And so, like I said, they are drastically behind. At one point, I would say they were probably 2 months behind, and now she was 6 pounds on the mark, so she's at the 12-week weight. And she is about a month, about 4 to 5 weeks behind in weight. So not as bad as it should have been or could have been. And then the buck, he's only maybe 2 or 3 weeks behind. So he's done really good at catching up. So we're going to watch these guys for a few more weeks and see what happens. Hopefully they will continue to mature and continue to catch up. And hopefully in another month or so, you won't know that they're behind. That's what we hope. And you know, I hope that hardiness, survival instinct is hereditary. I hope they can pass that on to their youngsters, and maybe youngsters will be strong and hardy against bloat. Anyway, that's it for this litter. I'm going to get these two tattooed. I'm going to take them out, put them in their new homes, and feed them out for a couple more weeks and take a look at them again. I get busy and I forget, so if you're interested, send me a message or whatever in 2 or 3 weeks and remind me it's time to look at these again. Thanks for watching, and until we speak again, God bless.